Hello everyone, welcome to Unix Programming Module 2 demonstration on lecture 6 concept. So demonstrate the concept we learned like logical operators and the conditional statements like if, while, for, case, and the commands like test, set and shift. The first is the logical operators. So here in the Unix programming there are two logical operators like a logical AND, logical OR. Okay, now let us discuss with one example. grep pattern director and the file name employee.txt, logical AND the second command echo pattern found. Okay, so let us see how that logical AND works. So here there are two commands, command 1 that is a grep command, command 2 that is to display a message using the echo. Okay, so when the command 1 executed successfully in searching the pattern director from the file employee.txt, then the second command will get executed in logical AND. So otherwise the second command will not get executed. Okay, let us run the command. Okay, so now here you got the result and you got the message pattern found. So it means that the command 1 executed successfully and then the second command will get executed. The next is the logical OR. grep command pattern clerk file name employee.txt, logical OR echo pattern not found. Okay, so how it works? When first command failed in executing, then the second command will get executed. That is the meaning of logical OR. Let us run the command. So here you got the result pattern not found. So it means that the grep command failed in searching the clerk pattern from the file employee.txt. That's what the second command will get executed. So this is about a logical AND, logical OR operators. So next program is on if condition. So already we learned what is if condition, the use of if condition and different form of if condition in a Unix program. Okay, now let us demonstrate on program using that if condition. gedit, program name and the .sh. Okay, so here the program is written using that if condition. Okay, so in the shell script the first statement is the shebang which contain #not /bin/sh, and here you are initializing that user defined variable a equal to 10 and b equal to 20. So after that, so you are using that if condition. Okay, so how to use that if keyword and the condition you have to check. So inside that square bracket, okay, so if $a is equal to $b, so if it is true, then the echo a is equal to b will get executed. So if it is not equal, then else if. So here for the else if you need to use the keyword elif, okay, and then set the condition. So else if $a greater than $b, so if the condition is true, then execute the statement a is greater than b, or else if a less than b, then print a message a is less than b. Okay, so if all the condition failed, so last statement is print a message none of the condition is met. So after that, so you need to close the if condition by writing the statement that is a fi. Okay, so fi means closing that if condition. Okay, so this is the example how to use that if condition in a shell script. Run the program bash p1.sh. So a is less than b. So here you got the output a is less than b because a is a 10, b is a 20. So that condition is true. Next program, while loop. Let us demonstrate one program using a while loop. Gedit program name .sh. Okay, so you already know how that while loop is going to execute. Okay, so here the program is using while loop. Okay, so initially you are writing a statement shebang #bin /sh, and you are initializing that variable a equal to 0. So here you are not using that any data type like a int, float, char in a shell script. Okay, no need to use that data type in a shell script. Directly you can initialize that variable. Okay, so here while loop or checking a condition $a less than 10. Okay, so until the condition is true, so here these two statements will get executed inside that do. Okay, so once the condition is failed, then the control will come out of the while loop. Okay, and then the program will terminate. Okay, so here do and done will get executed until the condition is failed. Run the program, bash program name .sh. So here you got the result 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 9. Okay, so next value will be 10. So condition become false, then the control will come out of the while loop and the program terminates. Next program is on for loop. Okay, so here, so in the for loop, the difference is here you need to use the list. Okay, you're not checking condition here like a for I equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. No, so here you need to use the list. The list contains the character string. Okay, so this is the syntax for the for loop in a shell script. For I is a variable in keyword, and so this is the list. The list contains the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so you are assigning that all the value one by one from the list. Okay, the first the value 1 will assign to I, next 2, next 3, 4 and 5. Okay, then you are printing one message looping number and $i. This $i will get the value one by one. Okay, so after that the program will get terminated when all the values are assigned to variable I. Okay, when the list is exhausted, then the control will come out of the loop and the program will get terminated. Run the program, bash program name .sh. Okay, so looping number 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, that is the for loop. Next one is case. Gedit program name .sh. So you already know about case. Okay, so in a C program you learned about a switch. Okay, so the case is similar to switch. Okay, so here in a shell script to check the condition and execute the cases based on the condition. Okay, so here initially I am initializing that a variable fruit equal to kiwi. Okay, after that I am checking condition case and then $fruit. Okay, so it has which has the value kiwi. Okay, and here you are checking that inside in. Okay, in keyword. Okay, and these are the cases, the case 1, case 2 and case 3. So in each case we are using that 2 semicolon, that is to terminate the statement. Okay, that is end of the case. Okay, 2 semicolon is end of the case. Okay, so here first case is apple echo. Okay, apple pie is quite tasty. Second case is banana, and you are printing I like banana nut bread. Third is kiwi. New Zealand is famous for kiwi. Okay, based on the case value. Okay, So these cases will get executed. Okay, so the case value is, that is the Kiwi. Okay, then the Kiwi is compared with the third case. Okay, then the New Zealand is famous for Kiwi will get executed. So after that, you are terminating the statement and you are closing the case. Okay, if you want to close the case, you need to write that case in a reverse order, ESAC. Okay, so this is to terminate that case. Let us run the program. Bash program name .sh. So you got the output, New Zealand is famous for Kiwi. So that condition is matched there with the case value. Okay, so the next program is on case. Okay, so here, so reading the arguments from the command line and assigning all the arguments to the parameter, okay, along with the case. Okay, now let us demonstrate. So this case in a shell script is used to assign all the arguments, reading all the arguments from the command line. Editor, program name .sh. Okay, so here first statement is the shebang, the variable option equal to $1. Okay, this $1 will get the value from the command line argument. Okay, for giving a value to this parameter from the command line, and then that option you are using along with the case. Okay, so case $option in. Okay, so here there are three cases. The first case is -f. If the given argument is a file, then print a message file name. So if the given argument is a director, and print a message director name is. Okay, so if the argument is not a file and not a directory, then print a message. Okay, this is the message to how to use that. So after that, the exit one means that is the program come out of the. So exit one means the command to come out of the program with the status 1. Okay, status 1 means that is for the failure. Run the program. Bash program name p5.sh. Okay, so you got how to use that usage in the command line. You have to give that. So -f file name or -d directory. Okay, bash p5.sh. I'll use that -f and the file name employee.txt. Okay, so you got the output. The file name is employee.txt. That -f case is matched and the statement will get executed. I'll use that bash p5.sh -d and the directory name shell program. So directory name is shell program. Okay, I given the option -d. Okay, so this case is going to match along with that case value. So this is about the case, how to read all the argument to check the condition in a case. So next is you learned about test command. So test command is used to handle the true and false value written by the command. Okay, so if the command returns true, okay, the status will be 0. So if the command returns false, the status will be 1. Okay, now let us demonstrate one example. Now here I will initialize the value of the variable x equal to 5, y equal to 7, z equal to 7.2. Okay, and then the first example, test $x -eq $y. Okay, so here in this command I'm going to compare whether $x is equal to $y. Run the command and check the status, echo $question mark. So here the status you got 1. So this command returns the value that is false because $x is not equal to y. That's what we got the status as a 1. Test $x is less than $y. Okay, and then check the status, echo $question mark. So here you got the status as 0. So this command returns the value true. Okay, because the $x is less than $y. That's what you got the status as a 0. That is for the success. 1 is for the fail, means that is a false. True and false. So this is about the test is used to handle the true and false written by the command. Next concept we learned about the file test. How to test the file. Okay, so whether the file is existed, whether the file has all the permissions like a read, write and execute, whether it has permission to open. Okay, so already you learned all the options. Okay, how to test the file. Okay, now let us demonstrate one example. Okay, so now the example is you need to use that square bracket and you need to use the option -f and the file name employee.txt and close that statement. Okay, so here you are using the option -f. Okay, so this -f is going to check whether the file is existed or not. Okay, so if the file is existed, okay, return the status as 0, otherwise returns as a 1. Check the status, echo $question mark. So status you got 0, so it means that the employee.txt is present in the Unix system. Second example, -x employee.txt, run the command and check the status, echo $question mark. So here you got the status as 1. Okay, so here you are using the option X. So this option is going to check whether the file is existed and whether the file has a X permission, whether it has a permission to execute. Okay, so you got the status as 1. So it means that the file doesn't have the permission X. Okay, so user don't have the permission to execute the file employee.txt. Okay, now check that permission, ls-l employee.txt. Okay, so here the user doesn't have the permission to execute that. Okay, next one, -r employee.txt. So this time check the status, echo $question mark. So here you got the status as a 0. Okay, because so here you are using the option -r. So this -r is going to check whether the file is existed and whether it has a read permission. Okay, the status you got 0. So it means that the file has a read permission. Okay, you can observe here. Okay, the file has a read permission for all the category, like a user, group and others. Okay, so this is the way to test the file. So here there are different options are available to test the file, and these are the sample options. So next you learned about set and shift. Set is used to assign all the argument to the parameter, and shift is used to shift the argument to the left by one position. Okay, now let us demonstrate an example. Okay, already you learned about the parameters like $0, $1, $2 and so on. Okay, so now how to assign arguments to those parameters using the command set. Set and the arguments 9876, 1234 and 4567. Okay, so here there are three arguments. Okay, 9876, 1234 and 4567. I'm assigning these three arguments to the parameters like a $1, 2 and 3. Run the command. Okay, now these all arguments are assigned to the parameter. Now check the parameter value. Echo $1, $2, $3. So here we got the value. $1 has the value 9876, $2 1234, $3 4567. Okay. So next is set date. Okay, so here we are assigning that the value of date to all the parameters. Okay, now let us assign the value and check the parameter value. Echo $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 and $6. See, these are the value assigned to this parameter. $1 is Saturday, $2 is October, $3 is the 10, $4 is time, $5 is IST, and $6 is a 2020. Okay, so next here I will execute the command shift. So if you run the command shift, this is shift the value one position to the left. Okay, let us see the output here. Okay, and then once again run the command. Okay, see, this time for $1 you got the value October. Okay, so previously the $1 value was Saturday. So after running the command shift, the $1 value will get the October because I shifted one position to the left. Okay, $2 10. Previously the $2 was October. Okay, the shift is used to shift one position to the left. Next one, shift 2. So it means that we are shifting 2 position to the left. Okay, and run the command. See, this time $1 will get the value, the time, because we shifted 2 position to the left. See, October and 10 is shifted to the left. Okay, now, so this is the value for the $1, IST for the $2 and 2020 for $3. Okay, so this is the use of set and shift. Set is assigned to all the arguments to the parameter, and shift is used to shifting arguments to the left.